June 10th, 2014. You are listening to the Super Magic Sex Show. My name is Lando. I'm here with my sweet, sweet friend, Obi. How are you, Obi?
I'm great.
Obi,
great.
What time
Thanks
is
for
it?
asking.
Yeah, what time is it?
It's game time.
It is game time.
Game time.
All
It
right.
is also 7:39.
So that makes it 7:39, June 10th, I'm sorry, what is it? What year? Are we recording?
It's 2014.
2014. All right. Welcome to the Super Magic Sex Show.
You drunk?
No, I'm not this time, and
What
it's
the
weird
fuck?
because I have these notes and I read them and I get confused because I'm like dyslexic, whatever.
Jesus. Next time.
I'm just gonna kick it off like this: if your potato peelings you left in the sink didn't magically transform into vodka like you wanted them to, then you're probably listening to the Super Magic Sex Show with Obi and Lando.
Yes.
That
All right.
great catchphrase submission. And that
Who-
catch
who
you want to
was
know
that?
that was from let's see who I'm going through my email here.
And what?
Okay, this was from Lee Harvey Oswald III.
Oh,
Which is kind of a twisted. I hope there's no connection that your
I'm sure there
that
isn't.
your grandfather shot one of our nation's greatest presidents.
whatever. All right, whatever.
Dude, I did it.
You did what?
I freaking did it.
What did you
I
do?
broke like ground. I changed. I did something. Does Guinness Book of World Records still exist?
Yeah.
Okay, call him up.
Every year.
Call him up
Okay.
because I did it.
What
I fucking did it.
the heck did you do, man?
Dude, I invented the world's first, because I know no other son of a bitch has ever done this before. I invented the first quintuplet entendre. Can you help us explain what an entendre is? It's like a double meaning, right?
Right, it's a double meaning.
Okay.
So,
Dude, I did that 5 times over in my mind.
all right.
You want to hear what's up?
Example? Yeah, give me an example.
Dude, there's only one example because only one thing exists on
Right,
Earth, and it
'cause
came from
you-
my mind, so called
right.
Guinness.
All right, so just talk.
Here's what's up. So I took an iPod.
Uh-huh.
I put a hook on it,
Right.
like a fishing hook attached to a fishing rod,
Okay.
and I casted it. Okay, so casting
First,
with an iPod, double entendre,
okay.
like podcast.
Podcast.
Now, meanwhile, this iPod is playing the podcast of Super Magic Sex Show.
Okay.
Triple entendre.
Triple.
Into, where am I casting?
A cast of
I'm casting into what?
a cast.
Where do people cast a fishing pool?
Well, usually
Or
in
a
the
fishing rod.
ocean, but if you're
Or the
casting,
ocean, whatever.
what if you were on a movie set?
Dude, that's where I am, bro.
Ah.
I'm casting into like 15 wannabe actors with their hands up in the sky, like trying to catch the iPod
Cast?
from my cast. So it's a casting call. So I'm taking an iPod, playing our podcast, casting it into a casting call. Is that 4? World's first. You're hearing it right now. Super Magic Sex Show. You are the first to know that a quadruple entendre has officially been invented.
We only got to 4?
Do you want me to bust the 5?
But what I mean, okay, so in the past, so if it's a podcast,
Wait, what do you mean we
Wha-
only got to 4? No
while
one in the
you're-
world has ever done this before
while
this show.
you recorded it, right? So at the time you were talking about news, so you were newscasting when you recorded it. So it's a iPod, a podcast that you're casting.
Newscasting on the podcast. Boom.
That you're
we're
casting
at 5.
into a
Holy
cast.
shit.
Falling
what do you want to do? Do you have anything for us, or do you?
I do.
Okay.
I have weekly good news.
Awesome segment, and this is my favorite segment of the show. I say this every single time, but every single time I mean it. Obi is a genius. He has been watching the news his whole life, and he came up with a brilliant revelation, and in realizing that all the news, everything you hear on CNN or whatever it is always bad stuff. And he said, I'm gonna change things because the world sometimes is good. So I'm gonna actually find stuff, and it's hard to do. It's hard to find good news. But he scours the internet. He scours like the back pages of a newspaper or whatever. He digs deep, and he finds the rare instances when there's actually publicized good things, and he brings them to the attention of our drug addict viewers. So, so what do you have for us?
All right. Well, today I'm just gonna read the opening little paragraph because it says it better than I can say it.
Okay.
So, all right, here it is. Learning a second language can have a positive effect on the brain,
Okay.
even if it is taken up in adulthood. A University of Edinburgh study suggests researchers found that reading, verbal fluency, and intelligence were improved in a study of 262 people tested either aged 11 or in their 70s. So a previous study that they have done before says that being bilingual could delay the onset of dementia. So basically they did a study of these kids when they're 11 years old, and then they did studies of they tested them again. This is a long series of tests. They tested them again in their 70s.
Just remind me here. These are 11 through 70-something-year-olds?
Right.
Okay, all right.
These were 262 people in Edinburgh, and they were 11 years old, and then when they became into their 70s, they tested them again. And
the same people, but they circled back.
Right, but the big question was whether or not learning the language improved their cognitive abilities, or if somebody who had already been bilingual had improved cognitive abilities.
Right.
And what they found out was that it goes both ways. So to learn a second language in your 70s does the same thing for you if you had known two languages your whole life. So something about learning a new language does something to your cognitive abilities that somehow staves off dementia.
I wonder if the same is true about I wonder, is it, I'd like to know what kind of part of the brain is targeted with language, and if that is the same part, because look, I don't want to learn a new language ever, especially when I'm any age beyond 40. I wonder if I can just play Sega Genesis, and if it hits this same sort of wavelength, that teaches me how to play Sonic the Hedgehog.
Right.
That, you know what I mean? What if I could just play Sonic?
Or what if you just watch foreign films?
Right. Yeah.
I
just listened to it. I heard it, and I read the subtitles. Yeah.
Right. I do that all the time, but who knows?
Very cool. Well,
yeah. So I mean,
that's great news.
It's good news because it's moving forward and figuring out the brain again. And once again, every single one of these segments has always been something having to do with science or medical.
Pretty much.
It seems to be the only good news that there is.
Right.
But is not necessarily reported on the front pages. But
where did you find this, by the way?
I found this, I can't remember. I think I found it on BBC News.
Mm-hmm.
Buried down somewhere towards the end of the page.
That's what we're talking about. We after a show the other night, we were talking to my mom because she came into our Manhattan studio and was like, oh, well, there's this front page article about the Pope meeting up with some Islamic leader or whatever, and maybe that's something you guys could talk about or whatever. And we're like, yeah, good idea. But that's not the point of the show.
Right.
Because you're going to get that on the front page of anything.
Right.
You know, what we're trying to do is find out what's on the 18th page, find out what's like not even in the internet, but like what is going on in the comments of the stuff that's posted on YouTube. Not even the YouTube thing, but like the comments and the links within the comments. Like we're going subterranean. This isn't necessarily good news, although I sort of think it's totally sweet. Do you want to know how to steal a Mustang and get away with it?
Yeah.
Like a Mustang car,
Like
the Ford Mustang.
like not a horse?
New Ford Mustang straight out of the dealership.
All right.
All right, here's what's up. So, for those of you who don't know me, which is probably nobody, because if you're listening, odds are you're pretty much only my family and like 3 friends. So, like, I don't know how this would get outside that. But for those of you who don't know me, I am a licensed attorney. And I was practicing in Michigan for a couple years. And in 2012, I got a job at a pretty prestigious law firm. And my first day, one of the attorneys comes up to me and he's like, hey, you want some like trial experience? You don't have to actually do anything. I just want you to sit in on this and see something cool. I'm like, yeah, of course. And by the way, a trial is incredibly rare. Mm-hmm. Especially in Michigan, like you like any case, whether it's like a criminal case or like a civil lawsuit, you have like a 2% chance of actually going to a trial. And by trial, I mean opening statements, witness examination, cross-examination, closing statements, jury deliberation. They come back with a verdict or they're hung, and then judge, hits the gavel and, delivers the verdict, and we all go home. That never happens. So when this attorney comes up to me and he's like, you want to sit in on this case? It's happening tomorrow, but I have the client here. It's a criminal defense case, and I have the defendant here. And we're going to interview him and sort of prep him for his examination tomorrow, because he's going on the stand tomorrow in his criminal case, and he's up on auto theft. He could potentially do 8 years in a federal pound me in the ass potentially.
Federal pound me in the ass.
Yeah, he's in trouble.
This is no joke, right?
So I meet the guy. And it just, it's confidential, so we'll just call him Cornelius.
Okay.
So I meet Cornelius, and he's kind of, I read about his case, so I kind of knew about him. But he's kind of he's a grad student. He's studying economics. He's kind of like a skinny, scrawny, nerdy dude that ought to be on Big Bang Theory. He's that kind of guy.
Right. Dangerously smart, though.
Dangerously smart. And that's the whole key to this story. And I'll circle back to that in a minute. And basically, here's what he did. He goes to the bar with his 2 buddies. Mm-hmm. He doesn't go to the bar that much. And this is what his 2 buddies had testified to. And this is what he told me during our little, closed door interview. And by the way, in terms of our interview in the office, I was like, listen, I'm an attorney at this firm. I represent you. Anything you tell me is strictly confidential, although I'm telling it on the air right now. But I'm giving you a fake name, so it's fine.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you can just tell me the truth, and we'll find out a way to defend you nonetheless. So just tell me exactly what happened. Please be honest. And he's like, okay. So he goes, one night I go to the bar with my 2 buddies. And on the record, we had records of deposition testimony of his 2 friends. Mm-hmm. And they were saying stuff like, we went to the bar and he got a beer and then maybe another one. And he started talking to this beautiful girl with big tits.
Sure.
I mean, they didn't say it like that, but they were like, this girl was voluptuous.
Right.
And I was talking to Cornelius, and he sort of said the same thing. He's like, I was talking to this beautiful girl. And then I was gone. That's all I know. I'm like, what? And then I talked to his buddies, and they're like, well, we knew Cornelius didn't really ever pick up chicks at a bar. and we weren't even drunk yet. He had like a beer or two.
Yeah.
And then he's walking out the door with this like strange ass. But we were like, all right, dude, that's cool. Like, good for you. Go get laid. Have fun. Like, right on, man. Cool. All right. Cornelius proceeds to go to the Troy Motor Mall. If those of you who don't know, Troy, Michigan is a place that's very close to where I grew up, and it has like a motor mall, which is a mall of various dealerships, like car dealerships.
Right,
Ford, Chrysler, whatever, Saab, He goes to a Ford dealership. You know how those, like, they have like glass windows with like a car inside?
Sure, yeah.
Like ceiling to floor windows.
Yes,
He starts kicking in the window. And this is like,
What?
it's not even debatable by law because his footprint, he had like mud on his shoes. His footprint is on the wall, like the glass wall. He's on videotape kicking in the thing.
Okay, yeah.
They're like, is that you? He goes, yeah, that's me.
All right.
Bad.
Yes.
Okay. He doesn't break the window, but he proceeds to like go around the back and like jack through the door, get inside the dealership, get inside the showroom where there's a brand new Mustang GTO.
Huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is all on videotape. So we're like, is that you? He's like, yeah, that's me. I'm like, oh man, you're going to lose this case. Like you're admitting to being on videotape, like doing the thing.
Right.
That is the crime.
Is it a Pontiac? Pontiac makes GTOs, right?
Ford Mustang. What? No, is it the Ford Mustang? No, it was the Ford Mustang Cobra.
Cobra.
What's the souped up Ford Mustang?
GT.
Like the
GT,
tight one.
GTS.
GTS.
Cobra.
I don't know.
Cobra,
I don't know
right.
my cars.
GTO is a Pontiac. I don't
No,
really
no, no.
either.
You're all right.
It doesn't matter.
Whatever.
Just so we don't get hate
Like
mail.
the dopest Ford Mustang
Like
you
a
can get.
Mustang S Cobra.
The one they put in the showroom.
Yeah.
In the Troy Motor Mall.
The real deal.
In Michigan. The real deal.
It'll suck and fuck you. Yeah.
Yeah. So he goes in and he starts like hot wiring the thing. Then on video you see him leave and he picks up gasoline and he comes back.
What?
Yo, that's what's up. Okay. Him and his girl that he met like an hour ago.
Oh, dude.
Get in the whip. Find a way to get the whip out the back. Like he stole a car.
Okay.
Okay, and he crashes it.
Okay, so what? All right.
No. Okay,
You
well, I'm jumping the
You
gun.
continue.
No. Ask the question.
I have a question. I want to know: did this girl work at this place? Did she
Nope.
know somebody that worked?
We have. I'll
She
explain that in
sounds
a
like
second.
the person
I'll
that's
explain
making
it.
him act like he doesn't
I
normally
agree.
act.
I'll explain it. So he steals the car and just starts like apparently hauling ass, and he crashes the car very close to again anyone who's listening to me who knows where Troy, Michigan is. There's also a place nearby. Not Rochester, Michigan. I think at that point it was Waterford, but there's the Clinton River. He crashes damn near the Clinton River to where like he almost sunk the boat. Okay, like but
Wow.
like he hits like a bush and an embankment. Car's done. Girl bails. We don't know. The cops never found her. Nobody knows who this girl is. And I was talking to Cornelius in the office, and I was like, trials tomorrow. We could like subpoena this lady. She might have information. She clearly does. She's on videotape jacking like a car with you.
Right.
She's sitting shotgun when you like haul ass, out of the dealership. Who is she? He goes, I have no idea who this woman is. Okay. And I can't tell if I believe him or not.
It might not have been a woman.
Oh no, it was clear. You mean like a chick with a dick?
No, it could have been a guy.
No, you can see that she has blonde hair and like
Sure.
breasts and
Have
stuff.
Have you ever seen a drag queen before?
That's why I'm at.
Like a really convincing one.
Could be.
It could have been
Could
like
be.
one of the greatest con artists you've ever seen.
Could be.
You never know.
So she's gone. To this day, no one knows who she is. Maybe Cornelius knows, but he claims that he doesn't know. He starts walking down the street, stumbling. He's got a receipt in his pocket for 2 beers. He never even bought her a drink. Those are his own 2 beers.
He got roofied.
That's what I'm thinking. All right, so he goes, he spends a night in the can, Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and the reason he spends a night in the can is because they don't even know that that's his car. Eventually, they find out, but he blows like 1 inch over the line of the like intoxication.
Right,
point, you know?
right.
So eventually, it comes to trial, and it's not looking good for him because they're like, "Are those your footprints out on the window?" He's like, "Yes." "Is that you on the videotape breaking into the dealership?" "Yes." "Is that you on the videotape driving a Mustang out of the dealership?" "Yes." "Did you get arrested for crashing a car and walking down the street intoxicated?" "Yes."
Wow.
I'm like, dude, you're going to jail. Straight
Yeah,
up.
I
Sorry,
mean-
bro. And like, I'm not litigating this case. I'm not trying to, claim that I'm someone I'm not. I'm just
Right.
sitting there on the sidelines. Like, I'm up there in the attorney's chairs, but I'm really not doing anything. But our client is sitting like right behind me.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just sweating because he knows he's going to jail today for a
Yeah.
long, long time. And at the end, so basically, I'm not trying to talk down to anybody, but I don't know what the average like non-attorney knows. Basically, in trial, you have an opening statement, and then you have witness examination and cross-examination and recross. And in witness examination, that's really where the action happens. That's where you can just bullshit all you want. You can make stuff up. You can lie as an attorney. And the reason you can do that is because the other side can say, objection. This is ridiculous. You're lying.
Right.
And here's how you're lying and why you're lying and blah, blah, blah. The time you can't make up new information is during closing arguments. During closing argument, you can only just wrap up everything that everyone heard. You just conclude. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
yeah.
you can't bring up new things.
Right. Your essay is done with.
The whole thing's done with. You just have to say, the last day you've heard about this, I'm going to summarize that, and then say it, and then we all go home.
Right. Okay. Makes sense.
Prosecution messed up because she goes, this lady, and she was actually kind of smart, but in this case she messed up. She's like, now we know that Cornelius blew over the limit. We know that Cornelius stole a car. We know that Cornelius broke into the Troy Motor Mall. We know that Cornelius failed his toxicology test. Whoa, wait a minute. Cornelius never took a toxicology test. You're bringing up new information. Boom!
You're
Mistrial.
lying.
And I
You're
turn
lying. Or
over
you
to
could be
Cornelius, and I'm like, dude, mistrial. And he's like, what does that mean? I'm like, bro, you're going home. Mistrial means case is done and you can't appeal it. Prosecutor fucked up.
She just made some shit
Dude,
up.
you stole a car, admitted to stealing a Mustang with some strange girl, crashing it, trying to flee the scene. But the prosecution screwed up, and you get to walk away free. And that's what he did. He
So-
went back to school the next day. My question is he like a criminal mastermind who knew exactly what was going on? Because I asked him 1,000 times. I was like, where'd you learn how to hotwire a car? He's like, I don't know. I'm like, come on. You don't just hotwire a Mustang, which is a pretty
Right,
sophisticated vehicle.
You've at least done it.
You've done it before. Come on.
Especially
He's
if
like,
you're
I
gonna-
have no idea.
It makes.
I was like, I can't tell if he's a criminal mastermind who got away with it or if he just got straight up GHB'd.
What's GHB?
GHB is the date rape drug.
Oh well, no. I mean,
Is that GHB?
it's
Yeah,
it's Rufinol.
Roofie, GHB.
I'm not- I don't-
Rufinol is GHB.
I don't know what.
Yeah,
Okay,
it is.
sure. Yeah, I'll take your word for it.
I want to take answers from people's. I mean, what do you think? Is this a criminal mastermind or is this just GHB in action?
Well,
SuperMagicSexShow@gmail.com. What do you think, Obi?
Nowadays, you can look that shit up on the internet. It doesn't-
That's what I'm
it doesn't
saying. I'm
take-
like, it's not.
But so basically, the way to get away with it is to do it, and then during the trial, go to the prosecutor and be like, "Hey, I'll pay you $1,000 if you just say that I failed a toxicology test when I didn't take one."
Yeah, but what if this
That's
is
the
some
loophole, right?
cowboy prosecutor who's never lost a case isn't gonna about to go down for 1,000 bones?
Well, everybody has their price, right?
Yeah, you got to name the price. That's what that.
Who knows? Who
so,
knows?
You know,
but you're right. There
we
could
just
be
we
somebody
just
that's
shifted
like, no.
gears big time. We went from giving good news to the world, and then we went from explaining how to steal a Mustang and bribe a prosecutor and play around with the date rape drug.
That's all it takes, huh?
All right.
Man.
Want to get a word from our sponsors?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, for this week's music plug, we have a great band out of Bismarck, North Dakota, called Lawrence Jennifer. And this song, Josh Thornton Also Rises, is off of their split EP with another band called Nora and the Janitors. And the name of the EP is Girls Just Wanna Have Gun. So please enjoy and check them out on Bandcamp.
It's hard to recover from post-trilogy stress disorder. After Mordor and Mini-Putt, Josh Thornton rose from the tourist trap of Medora. She ran Anne Hathaway with my teenage heart. I'm just Heath Ledger joking. No one's greeted her by name. Hardly any chemistry in chemistry class. Now, even less. My neck would only crane. I put Axe in my hair to fix this mess, and I cracked a coke to open some happiness. It's still hard to recover from post-trilogy stress disorder. I saw Mount Doom and missed the 4M review. Do you guys work in here? Laughing as we withdrew. I'm going to head back to UND for some living. Maybe I'll get to finally do some reliving. Someday soon, I'll strap on those rollerblades, because I'll be in love, and the rest will all fade. I put Axe in my hair to fix this mess, and I cracked a coke to open some happiness.